So even though this is post-processing, post-processing empty here, I'm not going to lie and tell you that I didn't panic. I absolutely panicked. I had about 5 minutes of total meltdown with the thought that I'm going to have to rebuild all this from scratch. But I remembered in my troubleshooting days, just because something appears to be corrupted doesn't mean it's completely gone, especially in that case. So I figured out, first of all, let's test to see if the software is working, if I can import and export, out from Fab. And so what I'm showing you here is I'm actually trying to download something from the Fab store. And it was such a long, very slow process to try and get this in there. But it comes to actually reveal, sorry, not realign, that, Fab is not broken, so to speak, but I can't install or import any new meshes into my project. And the reason for that is very straightforward, which I discovered in my troubleshooting days. I'd always back up copies into the main file of what I was working on. Well, that doesn't work very well in Unreal, because Unreal reads each instance of the backup with its own materials, and they might have shifted from what materials are in the library, and so it reads them as corrupt, and it reads all those other materials as corrupt as well. So as you can see, it didn't import, it didn't show me anything, even when I looked in Fab, where the Fab assets go, even when I checked with Quick-Cell Megascans, nothing. So obviously I can't import into Fab. The next thing I suspected, especially since all of my painting, all of my artwork, all of the hours and hours and hours to get those textures in place where I wanted them to be were gone. Look at all those lovely arrows. I pulled up the message log and found out that it appears to be my landscape materials completely corrupted. It won't even load. So I tried moving it back into landscape, and landscape rejected it entirely. It wouldn't even load it into the material slot. So I checked, and it allows me to make a new landscape. So I'm going to recreate basically my landscape material, and the hope was very, very cross fingers, cross toes, cross arms, cross legs, cross eyes, even if you can, that Unreal maintained my landscape painting work, even though the actual material itself had gone corrupted. So the hope was, with creating a new material, that I could recreate essentially the material I lost and just slot it back into landscape and hope, pray, what have you, that all my work was still there and it would just come back. So that's what I started working on here. So I've sped this up to like 200-300% because I don't play in spaghetti diagrams fast. So I know you don't want to sit there and watch this all night. I'd love you if you would, but here we are. And this is probably the least fun and interesting thing I'm working on with Unreal right now. But little by little, I recreated and rebuilt every texture, the base color, the normal maps, the height maps, and just rebuilt my entire landscape layers from scratch. So there are 9 different materials in this one material attributes graph here. And as you can see, I'm going through each one and then connecting that into the landscape blend and then putting that over to material attributes. So for each one of these, I have to have the base color, the normal, and either the height map or the ORD colors, sometimes the roughness, if that's all I'm given. because depending on who made the material, depending on what the material is, I could have 6 things to work with, I could have 3. Sometimes I only have 2. That gets exciting. So what you see me go through here is I'm trying to find the best different rock and granite and grass. Well, there's only one grass with clover. Roman road, and then old road, Roman floor, old road, and basically recreate all those individual layers. So, and use the exact same names. So hopefully that when I put it back in the landscape material slot, it comes back. So, like I said, sped this way up, but this was not the video I intended to be posting today. I actually wanted to show you my work in some of the levels that I'm creating for the game, but I already had screen record rolling and opened everything up to an absolute apocalypse in my world. Not what I had planned today, but hey, I guess it's Mercury retrograde, or Mercury's in the microwave, or whatever it is, and we'll get through it. Or we'll have a meltdown, or we'll have a meltdown when we get through it, one way or the other. Alright, so as you can see here, I finally got the last one that I'm recreating, and get everything put back into place. Grab those 3. I need the base color. What's that for the rocks? Sorry. There we go. Down there. Right. I need the base color, I need the normal, and I need the height. There we are. Get all that set up. And finally get the last one connected in. And I appreciate you sitting through this, because this was about, let's see, I started the apocalypse situation at about 10 p.m. I finally shut everything down and saved it at 3 a.m. So you can see how long it took me to fix Apocalypse World here. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and add my material back, and cross your fingers, cross your toes, and hope everything comes back, because this was hours of work, and it might not look like much to you right now at this early stage in the game, pun intended, absolutely, but this was lots of work and I don't want to lose it if I can avoid it. So bam, there goes the material. Hold your breath. And there she is. Oh my gosh, I can see the grass from over here. I can see the pens are back in place properly. There we are. There's the clover, the grass, there's the water. Okay, I see the rocks are back in place. Ah, look at the material on the texture on the houses. Okay, it's none of that robin egg speckle nonsense anymore. Alright, wait, what's up with that chicken? Why is that chicken in the air? Get that chicken down back. Alright, no, there we go. No, alright. Now at least that makes sense. Oh my gracious goodness. Okay, so little by little I've gotten everything back. Almost everything, because when I ran a playtest, I stopped in mid-air. I don't know why. So after some trial tribulation, I suspect it's a pawn collision issue. So just for grins and giggles, I restarted Fab, tried to import again, but it really, I really wanted that medieval flag there, because it's going to be used elsewhere, and I have tried 22 times at this point to download the darn thing, and it just won't download, and it's not the flag's fault, okay? It's not Fab's fault, it's not Unreal's fault, it's corrupted files, so I figured that out. Alright, and you can see, I checked flags, I checked banners, I checked medieval, because I couldn't spell right the first time, and nothing. Lots of interesting textures, colours, and materials there, and a sneak peek of some of the stuff you're going to see in the game. But no medieval flags. None. Rats. Here we got some rats, but not here. Anyway, alright, so I know that's the problem. There's a naked like that too. There it is. A couple of them, actually. But we'll fix Fab tomorrow. Right now I'm trying to figure out why my little player character is floating in the air there. And I've checked my blocking volumes, because there are blocking volumes in this game, and it's not the blocking volume. So that's not it. I've also gone through and checked, there we go, the collision lines for what that could possibly be, but that is not it. Yeah, see, that's the player character all the way up there. There's no collision lines beneath. There's nothing beneath it holding it up in the air. So I don't know. I think the actual player character, the third-person player character example that's in there, because I haven't put the main character in yet, I think that's gotten corrupted as well, so I may end up just rewriting it with a new player character, third-person player character, and see if that fixes the problem. But that's tomorrow's issue. So, as you can see, there's still a few things to fix, but the world is alive again. And moments of this really are part of indie game development. You spend an entire day creating something new, and other days you spend the whole day recovering what you already built and triple checking errors to find out why things aren't working properly. It's frustrating and exhausting, but it's also part of learning Unreal Engine and becoming a better developer, as learning to troubleshoot your own work. So thankfully I have backups. I've already started making even more redundant copies so this doesn't become a disaster if it ever happens again, but not saving them in the same place. So I won't have corrupted files anymore. So, progress isn't always about adding new features. Sometimes progress is simply refusing to quit when everything is broken and you're facing a deadline. So, tomorrow we'll build again and fix the Fab issue, whatever it is, and hunt for the invisible flaw that's plaguing my third-party character. Oh, sorry, third-person perspective character, not third-party character. Anyway, now you know. Hope you've enjoyed the journey so far. Talk to you.